Hello there, and you're catching us live on NTV across social media platforms. My name is Laban Clifford Serio, coming to you live from the Nairobi, where we're gonna crowd right here is all excited. Let me hear your excitement right here. Come on, give a round of applause. That's from the University of Nairobi students, especially also with our guests. Students, let's all appreciate our guests also who are joining us today. So definitely, this is an event that I'm sure many of us are looking forward to. Those of us who are at home, who are following these events on social media. Yes, Jack Ma is in town, and of course, being a special advisor to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. He's had such a busy diary earlier today, of course, visiting students at NILAB, and also now had a deliberation, of course, a business-to-business meeting with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. Of course, that was a closed-door meeting right at Villa Rosa Kempinski. And of course, now the students get to interact with him on a one-on-one lecture. And don't be fooled, this is not the entire crowd that is here. We have a host of other students who, shall I say, maybe were a bit late in maybe getting their tickets, and they're following the events live also at the grounds right now. So we're also following up with you, students out there. So you can still clap even if you cannot be able to receive back. Let's appreciate them, guys. And I think it's amazing. Of course, with NTV being partners in this event, of course, not to mention also to mention Radio Africa and Ankton and the University of Nairobi, we'll be looking forward to looking at how can Africa, and not only Africa also, but looking at Kenya, just kind of be on the same page, and also like how can we also develop the e-commerce platform. Of course, you know, Ali Jack Ma comes in from Alibaba, being the founder and the chairman. A lot of interest has been drawn, especially from the young people, looking at entrepreneurs in the building. We ran a story for you on NTV, of course. This one we had a discussion with Dr. Mukisa Kitui, who's the Secretary General of Ankton, and just the challenge was, how do we develop our entrepreneurs to also make sure that we're not really net importers, but also looking at net exporters also? And of course, unlocking the potential of commerce, unlocking the potentials of ICT. Now, you remember Jack Ma actually has made a quick stop over to Nairobi. He's on his way to Rwanda for the Youth Connect conference. So, of course, our colleagues who are following these events right from Rwanda, we're growing jealous of you because you'll have him for the next day. Of course, the entire day he'll be at the Kigali Convention Center, speaking to a few youth out there, just looking at how do they develop the potential of the youth in the trading with the world. Now, you notice this, Kenya and Rwanda also going into elections, but of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta has managed to accommodate Jack Ma in his diary. They had discussions earlier today in the morning. President Paul Kagame will be expecting him tomorrow, of course, for also an engagement with Jack Ma, with a host of other billionaires from China. So thank you so much for tuning in to NTV. I'll be speaking to a few guests who are here. Allow me to just walk a bit more and just give you a feel of how this event will be covered. Now, we'll be having deliberations, of course. We'll have a keynote address from the Cabinet Secretary of ICT, Mr. Joe Mushere, Soemi in the house. We're also having Dr. Mukisa Kitui speaking to us, and then, of course, the keynote address from Jack Ma. Later on, we're going to have an open discussion, a plenary discussion with the students. We hope that you students will be able to engage Jack Ma, right? Okay, just as he arrives. And of course, later on, now we'll have a press briefing, on a one-on-one press briefing with him. So I must say it's a great day to look forward to. And just to get anticipations from the students, I'm going to walk over to Eddie Ndishu, who's right at the front. He's the head of product innovation right at KCB Group. And also, I need a student just now. Let me see a student from the University of Nairobi. Just come down. We want to engage and just get what are some of the anticipations and what are some of the aspirations. We're talking about youth. We're talking about e-commerce. You know, so but of course our chief guest will be targeting his deliberations, especially to the youth. So I'm going to open it up to the youth just after my interactions with Eddie Ndishu. Eddie Ndishu, most of you would know, is head of innovations at KCB Group. Eddie, if you could just kindly walk over and just get better feel, because you are in the innovation space, and I know at this point in time everyone is looking towards how do we as Kenya, of course, go up to that scale, you know?
Thanks. I think first it's a very big indication for Jack Ma to visit Kenya. You know, this is the largest, having come from such deep adversity to become the billionaire that he is, and he's created quite a lot of opportunities, not just for himself, all the people he's employed, and you know, he got us into the platform thinking. I think for us at KCB, you know, we have a very aggressive program to get 1 million youths jobs in the next 3 years, the Tujajiri program. I think it's to look and learn from Jack Ma. How can we use new technologies like the internet to help our youth be able to access jobs?
Maybe you can address the youth and think right now, of course, it's one thing to receive a lecture, but what is your challenge, especially in corporates? Because, guys, the idea has been jobs, right? But how do we influence you to be job creators instead of job seekers?
That's a good question. 83% of this market is informal, and 64% of Kenya is the youth, people below 30 years of age. There isn't enough jobs for everyone. So people have to find entrepreneurship and create opportunities for themselves. I think, lessons on how to use technology to do that. I think, the business Jack Ma has run in terms of using the internet to be able to connect buyers and sellers, and then moving into building a platform that just aggregates billions of customers. I think one of the questions for me to ask is, given his scale, he had 1 billion users in China. We are not 1 billion here in Kenya. But maybe encourage our youth that not to think about just Kenya, but maybe the 250 million across East Africa, or maybe the 1 billion across Africa for any solution.
Lastly, Rwanda is giving us a run for money. Of course, looking at as matters ICT, how can we as Kenyans skill up?
No, I don't think they're giving us a run for their money, for our money. But I think one thing also to also be able to ask Jack Ma is, how do we export those skills from China, those technical skills from China, into Kenya? And China is investing heavily in Africa, not just in Kenya, and they're transferring technology as well. So over and above transferring technology and equipment to Kenya, can they also transfer those skills to our youth?
Eddie Ndichu, head of innovation strategy at KCB Group. Let's appreciate him, please. Just to get a better feel. Of course, that is from the employers and from a very strategic view. But let's look at an innovator. Let's talk to somebody who's actually right here at the University of Nairobi. I actually put out the opportunity out there. Let me have a student walk up right to the front. We're going to have a quick interaction, of course, with the students. This is an event meant to them. Of course, we are here courtesy of them. So I'm going to look around in the group. I'm going to open it up to a student in the house to walk right to the front. I'm just going to pose a few questions, especially if you're an entrepreneur, and I'll be able to ask you that. Let's give him a round of applause, please, as he walks up to the stage. First, you're going to introduce yourself. Tell us why you're here, and what are you looking to benefit from Jack Ma's lecture?
My name is Mogusu Momanyi, doing BCom Marketing at the School of Business, University of Nairobi. The reason why I'm here is the SMEs in Kenya right now, all of us are firefighting. And then business environment is not good at all. And all of us are looking at what are the tips? What can we learn from Jack Ma? What are his 5 things what are the pillars that can make business move forward? Is it the capital? Is it the equity? Is it the professionalism in the business? What is it that he does that we need to do?
And of course, you're lucky actually. You made it through. Most of your colleagues are sitting outside. But I just want to look at from what you'd actually look towards mentoring others and just sharing with others. What are you hoping to pick up? And of course, what are you hoping to kind of give to others who did not manage to make it here?
Actually, mentorship is very fantastic because you learn experience from what you don't have. So it is information that we are receiving firsthand from someone who has beaten all odds to make it. So it's going to be fantastic. We're going to open our ears very wide, open our eyes to listen to, and pick everything into details. The details are very important. And in business, we don't take details. And what I'll take to my young entrepreneurs, it's a fight for ourselves. We can't wait for someone to take our arms up and lead us the way. If we start it, someone will notice it and will pick you up and show you the way.
So we have the government here, we have the private sector, we have sponsors, we have financiers. Use this chance. What is your cause to them? What is that thing that is barring students from breaking the glass ceiling?
I think I don't want to be against my young people. We have an issue, the millennial question, and it is really hurting us. We have apathy for information and knowledge. We don't invest in good knowledge, self-development, knowledge and information. We lazy like bicycles, most of us. We are not looking into the big picture. It's never that today I'll start off and I'll make the first paycheck. It never happens. I've tried it, I've lost, I'm still trying it, and hope days the doors will open.
All right. Thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you. Let's appreciate him, please, as he takes his seat. Most of you remember him because he served in government and he served in the ICT ministry. And when you mention Bitang and Demo, everyone will just tell you, yes, it is still modest technology. But be sure that right now he's actually passing on that same information to students right here at the University of Nairobi. I want to call down now Professor Bitang and Demo to just come down. Professor Bitang and Demo, just come up. Let's give a round of applause, please, to our lecturer as he comes up down on stage. I've had him speak because he traveled and there was a conference he attended. And one thing that stood out for him is what are the future of jobs? You know, we keep on talking about entrepreneurship, we keep on talking about employability. But hey, there's this thing called ICT that is taking out our jobs. Talk about matters artificial intelligence. I want you to start from right there.
Okay. So what do you want me to say?
I want you to talk about the future of jobs, sir, because you mentioned about that during the Bloomberg graduation. So I want you to just expound a bit further and also touch on that with ICT.
I'm worried you interviewed a Kisi and another Kisi, diversification. Okay. What is happening globally is that jobs are changing. I mean, you're seeing our banks laying off, replacing human beings with artificial intelligence. Universities must prepare to teach young people for future jobs, which are not there. For example, a few years ago, you couldn't tell someone that I'm a blogger. But today, people say I'm a web developer, I'm a blogger. These are new jobs that are coming. There are three technologies that are causing havoc: big data, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things. We are using them here, but most people don't know that we are actually utilizing those technologies. If you look at M-Copper, for example, they use IoT in whatever they're doing. But most people don't know. But we still, in college, haven't begun to teach people the big data analytics. Again, you should move, Buena. Yes, yes, you move it this way. This way. Yes, now I am okay. Yes, we must begin to train people about future jobs. We deliberated on this issue in Berlin 2 weeks ago, and the conclusion was that nobody actually knows what those future jobs would be. The best is to encourage people to something we call lifelong learning. Even if you finish the degree now, you can do another, or when the jobs change, you can change. Most of these youth would change jobs like 10 times in their lifetime, meaning that the job they begin to do is not the one they will do a few years down the road because things would have changed. We also looked at the future of work, which another conference that we had. This is also very important for universities to begin to revise their syllabuses and to begin to teach young people from early stage. For example, when we were in Canada, the Prime Minister of Canada said, from next year, every kid in high school will learn coding, because coding is going to be very key. Jack Ma is coming to talk about e-commerce. Most people don't know what is happening with that. Everybody must know code because it's going to enable them to either get businesses or be able to compete effectively. Already, what the disruptions you are seeing, especially in retail, for example, Twiga Foods has disrupted kiosks, but people don't understand yet. Until you find that even the supermarkets have been disrupted completely, is when you begin to change. I think change begins now. We know what's happening. The discourse around the future of job, the discourse around the future of learning, we must internalize those and begin to work around it.
The wise man has spoken. A round of applause, please, to Mr. Bitang and Demo. who's also a lecturer right here at the University of Nairobi. In case you're joining us from home, this is a live broadcast coming to you from the University of Nairobi. Of course, in just a few minutes, we'll be expecting Jack Ma, who's going to be escorted with a host of other Chinese billionaires, and also be expecting the Acting Secretary General, Dr. Mokisa Kitui. Right now, we're just getting a few of the sentiments and a few of the deliberations from the private sector, from the academia. And of course, I think the highlight of this all is just the youth, and we're just talking about the youth. So I'm going to just walk up to where they are and just maybe engage them a bit further. But before that, oh, you want to speak, right? All right, let's introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and yes, give us a youthful voice.
Hello, how are you? Are you fine, really? Okay, my name is Yvonne Wade Kuya. I'm from the University of Nairobi, a journalist student. And that's what I do, but in my mind, I have a business mind. So I'm a journalist as well as a businesswoman, but I've not yet started.
Let's also address our guests at home. Let's give a round of applause.
So I'm just waiting for the tips here, and then I think I'll start something. What?
What's something are you going to start? Like something in e-commerce, something in IT? What exactly?
Okay, first thing, as a journalist, the first thing you're told when you enter the class is that in years to come, there will be no camera women, cameramen, because the cameras will be rolling by themselves. And I think that is the work of the IT person who makes them all like that. So when we get these tips, we don't have to be only journalists as journalists going out and getting the information, also the IT part of it. So if I can't be a camera woman, that means I have to operate the cameras so that someone else cannot come and take my job, because that is my job and people are going to take it if I don't do it. Yeah. And also another thing, in the world that we are going on today, you don't have to get a degree, or you have to get a degree, but but you don't have to, most of the time you don't have to use that degree to be successful. There are other means. You can get your degree as a journalist. I'm speaking of journalism because I'm a journalist student. You can get a degree as a journalist, but you can use YouTube, you can use Facebook, you can use all this online platform to do your other business, which may give you may become rich, not because you're a journalist, because you're a business person who's using IT. So for me, what I'm expecting is other tips. We already have them. We have Safaricom bundles for G. So if you have them,
Free Wi-Fi.
free Wi-Fi at school. So if you have them, that means you have to do something about it. So that's what I'm expecting.
Thank you very much. And of course, we hope you'll consider NTV even as a journalist when you hope to look at employment. So I want to speak to, of course, to other, of course, guests who are in the house and also just get a feel from them. There's one of the guests who came all the way, I believe, from China, and I just want to get his feel because you said you have a question, so please just stand up. And yeah, sure, just come up. We're going to speak to our guest. Ni hao.
So I'm Stone Shao and the founder of G-Stone. G-Stone is one of the sponsors of this meeting. To be honest, okay, I'm very, very surprised. Jacob Ma has so many fans, okay, in Africa. 10 years ago, Jacob Ma had a speech in Peking University when I do MBA in Peking University, okay. I'm afraid no many audience attended the speech. And the organizer asked us to go to other school to post. Okay, tell other people, Jacob Ma is coming, please come here to listen to Jacob Ma's speech. But today, here, I mean, even me, I'm the sponsor. It's very difficult for me to get the ticket. So Jacob Ma, okay, is very popular in China, but I've never think about it. Jacob Ma is so popular, has so many fans in Africa, in Kenya. Make me surprised.
Let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much. That's just for the feel of everyone who's here. Yes, indeed, this is big. This is a big deal. So if you're following online, if you're following on television, Thank you very much. Again, let's all appreciate every one of us who's tuned in for this. My name is Laban Clay Fonsero. We're still coming to you live from the University of Nairobi. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, of course, we're going to speak to more participants just to get a feel of them and also ensuring that we can make sure that we can just follow the proceedings as we go on. So I'm going to hand over now to Carol Motoko, who's going to take over the program from here. Guys, sorry, that was TV. So now we are real. So thank you so much for being an amazing audience. I'm not, anyone is, guys, you're not asking questions. Where are you, man? There are people right to the back. I want you, when I say guys, come up right to the front. I can't see anyone here. You have a question? I'm going to come to you, okay? I got that question there. Let me have the students, guys. This is your day. Okay, so don't let Jakma just come into Kenya and then you just run away. All right. Any other question from the back? I see your guest coming in now. All right, if you're just joining us right now on NTV, my name is Laban Clifford Serio. We are receiving our guests today. We're having Jackma together with a host of other colleagues and billionaires from China. I'm advised that we're going to be having a session for question and answer, which is basically an interactive session with the guests right here. But of course, we want to also speak to the students. And as soon as I get my cue to stop, I'm going to do that and hand over the program to the host. That's Caroline Motoko from Radio Africa Group to take over. So I was basically just interacting with a few students, and we had a question. I know there's one who's coming up right from the back. Any student who's just joining us from the back? Come up, come down, come down. Let's give him a round of applause, please, as he comes up. We're having introduce yourself and just share with us what are your expectations and what are you looking at that camera, of course, to our viewers at home.
Yes, my name is Harun Mamboleo. I'm a civil engineering student. Uh, uh, I'm interested in e-commerce. It has brought the world from far away. That one we understand. But so far we are selling things on e-commerce that are tangible. But we need to move to providing services in e-commerce. For example, you want to open a school that is online. I have started a school myself. I've started an engineering school. Yes, yes.
Where is your school? Just a bit more detail on that as you face the camera, of course.
Yeah, the school is at its initial stages. Yes. Yeah, I'm an engineer, so I'd like to provide knowledge on engineering software.
Allow me to cut you short. We're going to come back to you just now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This is just to hand you over to the main program. Let's give him a round of applause. He started a school. These are the entrepreneurs we're talking about, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us from home, this is, of course, a live coverage courtesy of NTV. My name is Laban Clifford Serio with the hosts of other live streamers who are here online on social media, on television. We are just getting started, and I now want to hand over the program to Madam Caroline Motoko, who's going to be the host for our day today. Let's give a round of applause, please, to Madam Carol, please, as she takes over the program. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again, and if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Caroline Mutoko. I'm your moderator, not necessarily your host for this afternoon. Jack Ma and his entourage have already arrived, getting a drink of water, and on the way.